think transformational is what Joe Biden is setting out to do. And by the way, if you look at how the metrics of his progress is that he always overshoots the runway instead of underperforms.
The thing is, moron, when you overshoot the runway, everyone on the plane dies.
Speaking of the truth, it's Freedom Roundup. Good evening and welcome to the Freedom Roundup. I'm Shaun Horner, Executive Director of the Heartland Fund Incorporated. Joining me this evening is my usual cohorts. Starting with my immediate left is the wonderful and beautiful Michelle Horner, President of the High Noon Republican Women's Group.
And candidate.
And exploratory candidate.
Oh.
We're still exploratory.
Gotcha.
Need my committee.
Next up is the representative from the 32nd District of the great state of Missouri, Jeff Coleman.
That would be me. Thank you very much, Shaun.
And last but not least, Kress Cambers, campaign director for the Jeff Coleman campaign. That sounded like hissing cats. Welcome, everyone.
Hey!
I thought we were going to edit my intro in.
We're going to edit all of that.
Yeah.
I thought this evening we'd take a little step back. We'd concentrate a little bit more on national politics. So we'll take a couple swings at that. The first thing I want to do is throw the softball pitch out, and let's just talk about our favorite Biden gaffes of the week, shall we? Who would like to go first?
Boy.
There's so many. Take your pick.
Well, you mean the train that went to Tampa and the
Amtrak. Yeah, the Amtrak quote.
One, yeah,
the Amtrak quote that went everywhere.
Can you say that one more time?
I don't
couldn't
know if I
quite
could
get
even
the mumbling.
Yeah, the longest thing ever. Yeah, that
down to Tampa
and New
If we
York.
would have got,
I actually got the audio. If you want me
let's do
to,
that. Yeah, let's do that.
That's painful. All right.
If you think about it, when I was vice president with Barack, he allowed me to put together a budget for Amtrak, and it had money for high-speed rail at 200 miles an hour from Charlotte, another line going from in Florida down to Tampa. Another line. If we had moved, we'd have that tunnel fixed in New York now. The money was there to get it done.
Wait, I thought we were talking about Florida.
Oh, well, yeah. New York is northern Florida.
Yeah. Well, that's where all the New Yorkers are moving to.
Yeah.
Is Florida.
Gotcha.
So that's probably why you got a little confused. That's a great one.
And then
That's
to
a great
tack
one.
onto that, don't we have some of our budget or our projected budget going to Amtrak?
Yeah.
Some of that from our wonderful State of the Union, which was not called State of the Union. They called it something else this time. Does anyone remember what it was called? It was like
Joint Congress.
yeah, it was specifically
Congress.
not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I thought at first that was some sort of dog whistle or something. Come to find out that apparently that's pretty normal for the first State of the Union the president gives right into office.
I thought it was story time for the elderly.
It might as well have been because no one was in the.
Well, Ted Cruz fell asleep. So did a bunch of other people because it was so.
He was
did
talking
Biden.
about that on Verdict.
So did Biden. He
So
went
did
on.
Biden.
Yeah.
on his podcast,
I did,
Verdict.
and I don't mean to plug another show because he makes a lot more money than we do. But
Wait, you mean people make money doing this?
They do apparently. No, the best way that I have found to listen to any sort of Democrat address is to do it with From the Blaze, Louder with Crowder.
Yeah. And they were
So
drinking
he talks.
every time.
Yeah,
they
there's a
said
drinking
certain
game.
things.
There's a drinking game associated with the State of the Union. It actually makes it fun.
Sort of
even
kind of
if
like
it
you
sucks.
guys did, when someone mentions
Last
his
week.
military
Yeah.
accomplishments every time
California.
he spoke.
California.
You know what?
I wonder who that
Not
is.
doing it. I am 2 hours away from home.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Oh, yeah. That's something else. Everyone, we're actually broadcasting from my bunker
Yeah.
Headache.
in Gentry County.
We're in our secret bunker.
In our secret bunker.
At the Horner compound.
At the Horner compound.
We're in the Horner corner.
In the Horner corner. That's so not right.
Secret ward headache.
Well, we are on a corner.
Yeah, yeah.
Little
So,
Shaun Horner.
We
lives
are
on a corner.
Uh-huh.
No, stop. All right, so that was your favorite Biden was
Well,
the
it's not my
Amtrak.
favorite, just the
Well,
one I can
this
think of at
week.
this moment
All right,
because I've had a little too much to drink. But yes.
So Jeff, what? Do you have a favorite one so far, or not even this week? Just one that you've had so far.
My favorite one is the one where he's sitting by the pool and all the kids just like to come up and play with his leg hair.
Oh,
They like to smooth it down and then and crinkle it back up.
It turns blonde in the sun.
No, because I threw up a little bit in my mouth.
He's a little creepy, and I can't believe.
Really, he's a little bit more than he reminds me of somebody local.
Ow! Ow!
I'm trying to think
Is
of
he
it.
still local? Or did he
I
move?
don't know.
I think he ran away.
Yeah.
Do you want to dive into that?
No.
No.
No. Not even with a 10-foot pole, because that's...
Who was that
that's-
guy?
That's...
What was that guy's name again?
He's gone. We don't care.
But maybe she didn't know. I don't think she knew. I think he was a great chameleon like our president is.
Yeah. Well.
But I think,
think,
our president doesn't hide it as well as probably Rick did.
Well, I think that the chameleon effect is wearing off of our current president.
Yeah, him smelling girls' hair.
Well, it already he ran on the
hairways.
whole. I'm a you know.
I'm not Trump.
I'm a joiner. You know,
I'm a
I'm a
unifier.
unifier. And then what was his very first sentence in the State of the Union? Did everyone hear that? He literally linked the January 6th issue at the Capitol to terrorism.
To terrorism.
Boom. You know,
He called those people there terrorists. Those American citizens he called terrorists, and all they did was peacefully protest. No, it's okay then, Antifa and the Black Lives Matter, terrorize these major cities and these people that live in it and these businesses. No, that's not terrorism. But the people that peacefully protested and were fighting this bad election that occurred are terrorists because it didn't agree with the Democrats' way of thinking.
So might be an unpopular opinion. We can probably edit this out if you want me to. Maybe I should preface it by saying my views and opinions don't express the views and opinions of
Don't necessarily.
Really,
Oh,
his
okay.
opinions of
Address.
this, of us.
of
no, this
the
is,
Heartland
this
Fund.
Is, this is a
and-
podcast. You get to have your own
Own
opinions.
opinion.
Okay.
It's also
Well-
what you call America.
Go ahead.
So
America.
what happened at the Capitol wasn't a good thing.
At the in the building, not outside.
Right,
in
right,
the
right,
building.
in the
Right,
building.
right. No, I.
But if they're going to call that an insurrection, shouldn't they have weapons? And they weren't trying to take anything over. You would have seen a lot more.
Damage.
A
Well,
lot more.
well,
I'm not calling this an insurrection. I'm not calling it a good thing.
I'll call it trespassing.
Well,
I'll
okay,
call it
wait.
trespassing.
I won't even call it that because the Capitol Police let those people in.
So we saw that
They
video.
actually
Yes.
let them in. How is it trespassing on a piece of property that's owned by the American people?
That's what I was going to say.
And when
That's
they
the people's
walked
house.
in and were allowed in by the police, that is not trespassing. I'm sorry. Everything that has been told about what happened at the Capitol is bull. Oh, bull. And they had proof there was Antifa and Black Lives Matter in there. They arrested a lot of those people,
Yes.
and you never hear about that in the mainstream news media. You only hear about the white men and the racist white men, where they weren't racist white men. It actually was a black boy and he even said he was hiding himself as a Trump supporter to get involved and to make problems for the
Right,
Trump
right.
supporters. So what happened that was bad is that they allow these Antifa to integrate and to make the regular American people look bad. And sadly, we have someone like Babbitt that got shot and killed by a Capitol police officer.
The
that
only
they
person
did,
that died.
the only
Yeah.
person that died by it, and she was shot, and the Capitol Police are doing nothing for it because he was lawful, but she had no weapons on her. But the family is actually just announced they are suing D.C. Police Department as well as the Capitol
Good.
for her death because she was unarmed and then rightfully has the right to be on that property because it's owned by the American people.
So
yeah, they'd have a hard time running.
the
running through
cop. Let's debunk this. That we've probably heard a dozen times, but the left probably hasn't. But the cop that they said died from getting his head bashed in from a fire extinguisher didn't actually happen.
No.
And the family of that officer said, "Please stop spreading that lie." He actually died from a heart attack and a stroke in the hospital.
Yeah.
I mean,
He had it. It was not related to what happened down
it was not
the
related.
January 6th. No.
The only person that died at the Capitol
Was Babbitt.
was, yes.
Kress, Biden.
Oh, boy.
We're going to go back to Biden.
I forgot
Biden
what
gaff.
we're doing.
Hey, we've been sort of kind of talking about Biden. We just been talking about,
Well, we've been talking about the change of guard, certainly. So that,
Nancy Pelosi was wearing silver and Kamala Harris was basically dressed in gold. So you had silver and gold behind President Biden during his speech.
They said there is first time in history that there's 2 women sitting behind the president speaking. I said BS. Paul Ryan was back there when Trump gave his first address.
That's funny.
that's funny.
That's pretty good, isn't it? So basically everything Biden says, I'm going to incorporate that into a gaffe. How about that? Because I don't have a specific one.
Okay.
I'm still.
He's got
so many. Yeah. I mean, he's a 50-year political whore. It's all out there.
Did not find it. Yeah,
It's all out there. The 7-Eleven thing. What was a 7-Eleven? You said you can't go into a convenience store
yeah. Oh,
without hearing
that was
a slight
so,
Indian accent.
So bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
But it's okay for him. And it's okay for the left to say something like that. But it's okay for him to say something like that. But it's not okay for if Trump would said something like that, they would have been all over him.
Let's pull this one up.
All right, go ahead.
I'm looking forward to this, man. You walk behind me in a debate. Come here, man.
Come on, man.
Why should people want to make a change, though?
Well, that's up to them to decide.
Why should they?
It's for them to decide.
We'll make your case.
I'm not going to. We can't rebuild our economy and
You just
meet
can't.
this climate crisis, exacerbating the need
Climate
for environmental justice. Sorry, as a bug.
What?
He sounds
Speaking of the
drunk
environment, we need to work.
So
or on drugs.
the
So
other
bad.
when he did his address to the nation, he was talking about. I'm pretty sure I'm going to steal Shaun's, and I apologize. When he said, "We're all the government," we are all the government is we the people. No
Shocker,
Joe.
that actually isn't mine.
Oh,
Good try though.
no
'Cause
Joe.
You know I was
we
going
the
for
people
kind of
are
obscure stuff.
we the people, the citizens. Jeff, I'm sorry, but you're a public figure, and that excludes you. But it is we the people as the citizens, not the government. That is
Yes.
some horse.
He trampled
excrement.
on the Constitution over
Absolutely.
and over
Yes.
and over again on that speech, and it was so sad and it was the worst rated
Yes.
speech ever.
Yes.
Ever. It
Yes.
was a
From the most popular president of all time.
It was the worst.
I am going to beat that
Nobody
drum.
watched it.
Tim Scott's
I'm gonna beat that
rebuttal
drum
got
forever.
got more views.
Yes.
I mean, just on
Tim
YouTube.
Scott's speech was
Yes.
But
better.
people, I mean, and he was calling us a racist country, and Tim Scott said, "We're not racist."
We're not racist.
But there was one guy that did come out. Me and Jeff talked about this earlier this week. That came out later on. I think it was on Dan DiBiasio's show or Tucker Carlson, and he spoke to was a guy. I can't remember the guy's name, but he was black, and he goes, "I really wish Tim Scott would have amended his comments about America being a racist country." And he goes and he clarified that. He goes, "It's not the Republicans that are racist, it's the Democrats." He goes, because Tim Scott got the most racist, most hurtful, most awful comments being made towards him, like you wouldn't believe. I mean, and these are from liberal white people calling Tim Scott horrible, horrible names. And so he's like, we need to change the way that's said. The liberals are the most racist people on the planet.
Speaking of Tim Scott, this was great from him. He said this at the RNC, and he said this the other night as well for his rebuttal.
My grandfather's 99th birthday would have been tomorrow. Growing up, he had to cross the street if a white person was coming. He suffered the indignity of being forced out of school as a third grader to pick cotton and he never learned to read or write. Yet, he lived long enough to see his grandson become the first African American to be elected to both the United States House and the United States Senate in the history of this country. Our family went from cotton to Congress in one lifetime. And that's why I believe the next American century can be better than the last.
Isn't that fantastic?
No, it was a great speech. And unlike a lot of them, which are painful to listen to, because they're either done wrong or whatever, that one actually came out so good.
So I want to go off into the weeds a little bit about that, though. It's kind of in the same direction, though. Do you want to mention the reporter that told you this? There will never be a black statewide candidate elected in Missouri. I think that's wrong.
I do know. I know what you're talking about now, Chris.
I think that's wrong because just Republicans won't elect somebody just because they're black, just because of the color of their skin, just because they're a female. We don't play the identity politics game.
No, we don't check boxes.
We don't check boxes. What we will do is check boxes on
character,
where they stand with my value, where they stand with my family's value. How are they going to help my family in the future? And I'm not talking about government handouts. How are they going to give us more freedom? How are they going to give us more liberty? If we had an African American stand up as a Republican, I'm talking someone like the values of Tracy Chapel. Mm-hmm. If she would stand up and run for a statewide race, I guarantee she would win statewide. Mm-hmm. Someone like that has the Republican values. But I'm not going to vote for a white Democrat. I mean, there's plenty of those. Do we ever vote for a white Democrat? No. I always vote Republican. And if that Republican holds my values in place and they happen to be African American, I will definitely vote for them.
Mm-hmm. Same.
No, my Biden gaffe pick was the 30 seconds during a recent press conference where he's literally looking for the mask that's in his pocket. I mean, and he says, I have to find it, or what?
He's gonna be in trouble.
He'll be in trouble. And we're all like, the leader of the free world is going to get his spanky wanked because he forgot to put his mask on.
Virtue signaling.
That's
in the highest.
I'm just like shaking my head going, you know what? You're the freaking president. Just walk away and have someone else find the mask for you.
What is he?
Do what?
What was he?
The freaking president.
Asterisk. You need to put an asterisk in front of it.
Do I?
I got you.
Yes.
He's the sitting president.
I thought you said president.
No, I might as well have been. Yeah. He doesn't.
That's exactly.
I mean, it hurts so bad.
So if you watch the video, they zoom up. One of the Secret Service guys or one of Biden's people handed him a mask behind his back, or handed Jill Biden the mask. And Jill Biden put it in his back pocket. And he goes, oh, there it is, when he pulled it out.
Really? That's
yes.
what I saw that and I was joking because I wish I could find it, but there's actually it's like a TikTok or something on Instagram where they put in the Secret Service talking over the ear speak. You know, they're going President, it's in your pocket. It's in your pocket. It's in your pocket. Somebody hand it to Jill. Okay, Jill, put it in his pocket. And they say that in the thing.
Yeah.
Somebody's accessing.
That was I was looking for TikTok.
Yeah, don't not at the table.
You know we're connected to the board, yeah.
It's
Play it though.
It just got.
Oh, there you go.
That's.
Yeah, it's just playing. It's not.
Yeah, that's. I couldn't find the audio. Anyway, it's no big deal. Okay, quit. Man, this is an editing nightmare.
I'm not sure.
Well, it was the thing on it, but
I know.
they
I told everybody.
replaced it over with something else.
So
all right.
The deal is tonight, we're having technical difficulties with one computer, so we're trying another computer, and we're moving from Apple to Microsoft. Kress is learning how to use Microsoft
The hard way.
the hard way.
So we're all getting a crash course in Adobe Audition, and none of us were prepared.
I said, take it easy on the editing for me.
And this has literally been the
And
roughest
this is the
night.
worst editing.
This is literally the roughest night we've ever had. All right, so we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about my two absolute favorite organizations and what they've been up to recently. And that would be Antifa and BLM. So we'll talk about them back in a minute. This portion of the podcast is sponsored by the Heartland Fund Incorporated, sponsoring issues and candidates that care.
If you like the podcast, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Thanks from all of us at Freedom RoundUp. And now on to the show.
I can't afford to pay for that. So, have you guys noticed? Welcome back to Freedom RoundUp, by the way. Have you guys noticed that so while we were on break, behind the scenes here, we've been trying to find that video and audio of Joe Biden.
Apparently everyone, the Blaze, YouTube, everywhere
we were finding it on YouTube.
The first segment we were talking about Biden, and I was going to bring up the can't find my mask, looking it up and
Right.
stuff. Every place we looked had that song on it now.
With no audio of him
With no
saying
audio
that.
of him saying it. Yeah. So
But
they're all-
it's there.
Just Daily Mail.
Yeah, Daily Mail, all of them.
Wow.
Caller.
I think that's the one I pulled it up on to show you. So they probably... What is going on?
Isn't that crazy?
I'm
now I'm gonna spend extra time tonight. I'm actually gonna look and see if we can't find it because that's
I've
crazy.
put every single link on I can find
That's
of that.
crazy.
And all different news sites
I
are all that
do-
way.
But you know what? It's
I
much
pull a lot
easier
of
to-
audio for this podcast, and I'll screen record it, and then lay it over,
Yeah, but that's crazy.
But this is insane. This has never, ever happened.
You're not going to be able to find. Anything on it because if they're doing that craziness, what else are they? What else are they changing?
And what else have they changed that we've never even noticed or noticed before?
Right. During break, we were looking for these. I'm gonna say this again. We were all looking for the video with the actual audio on there of Joe Biden saying he couldn't find his mask.
Or he'll
And
be in trouble. Yeah.
yeah, and we can't. It's all. Is this Carl Perkins?
When did this happen?
Lifting you higher.
When
Yeah.
did this happen?
So this happened Thursday?
Thursday. Yeah.
Thursday.
I'm pretty sure it was
one of
Thursday.
his speeches.
The day
Yeah.
after he did his.
Well,
Was
that
it
would
the day
have
after?
that would have been Wednesday then, because he did the State of the Union Tuesday, didn't he? Or no, was it Wednesday? It was Wednesday, so it was Thursday. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so confused now.
Yeah. So the bottom
Well,
line.
so
So
was
was
he.
he.
Right now I was like,
Rim shot.
So yeah, that's pretty amazing
That's
they
pretty
want
freaky.
to cover all that up.
But you know what? When it comes to
Why
your
would you
algorithm,
want to?
No, I can tell you why. Because when it comes to your algorithms, it's a whole lot easier to look for a song.
Well, yeah, I guess. But I
'Cause then
mean,
you could just pull
think
it.
about this. This is what a totalitarian, authoritative government does.
Uses nefarious pop music.
Well, no, to cover up. I mean,
Yeah, no.
they cover up.
I'm going to
what's
say this
actually-
again. I said it last week. I probably said it the week before. Guys, this is what a communist government does to hide what their dictator is doing.
Well, it's not just with the dictator that somebody else is actually controlling him.
Yes.
What he
Yes.
said was, "I'm in trouble." Tells you that somebody is in control of Joe
Of
Biden.
him. Yes. He says, I'm in trouble.
Just so weird.
But he walked up on stage without his mask.
And then what happened?
He spoke.
Security.
3 people died. No. Oh, no, wait. That's what it would actually happen with the
Security and his
pandemic.
wife went up there and gave him a
Security
mask.
gave it to
Yeah.
his wife, and his wife put it in his back pocket, and then he pulled. Oh, here it is! It's in my back pocket. So that's
wrong.
what the song is covering up right there.
Yep.
Though the video's still there of his wife putting it in his back pocket. It's just ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. What about you, Kress? Is it ridiculous?
Oh,
ridiculous.
it's ridiculous.
redonkulous, yes.
Ridiculous doesn't explain it. This
Yeah, I was
is
gonna say,
it's a cover up.
This is full blown totalitarian. Unless I can find the audio somewhere, this is crazy.
What's the Russian guy's name? Before
Lenin?
Nope. Keep going. It starts with a T.
Stalin.
Nope.
Tolstoy.
No.
No, that's a philosopher.
Well, he's still a
maybe
Russian.
it's before Lenin.
Uh,
It starts with a T.
Tarantino.
No,
That
it's
was a-
well,
that
it was
was a
Stalin.
joke,
It
by
was
the way.
Stalin. It was Stalin and Lenin were the main drivers there. But
Yeah.
you're
Thank
talking
you
about
very
you
much.
talking about who the Tsar was?
Yeah.
By the way,
Tsar Nicholas?
No.
No.
by the way, that was a joke earlier. I just
anyway.
wanted to make sure everybody knew
I'll
that.
look later.
Okay.
It's okay.
Anyway,
J-
all right. We want to talk about some Antifa and BLM
Wait
excitement.
a second. I want to come back to the fact that I just told a joke and nobody laughed. I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew that
That was a
when
joke.
I said
That your
Tarantino,
joke fell flat and you had to
was
bring it up
that was a
again?
joke.
It's really nice to hear you speak
Yeah,
when
thank
we
you.
have these,
you.
even if it's a lame joke.
You. Yeah.
It's because of the new soundboard. It's so much greater.
It is.
The problem is the software. We got to crash course and learn. But beyond that, it's awesome. All right, so no, what'll end up happening is we're gonna have to buy a computer.
Antifa.
Antifa,
Antifa.
BLM. Who wants to talk about what
Antifa.
who wants to talk about
How do
it
you-
first?
Oh, they're
How do you
doxing.
Yeah, you want to. Yeah,
Hey,
you
wait
want
a
to talk about
second.
this.
I want to know how you really pronounce it.
Anti-fascist. So
Anti-
I always say
Antifa.
Antifa.
Antifa?
That's how I say
An-
Antifa.
Antifa.
I don't say Antifa.
Or Antifa.
I say
Antifa.
Antifa
Antifa.
because that's what it's supposed to be. It's anti-fascist. So I say Antifa.
Though they're the most fascist group of people around.
Irony.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
You were a little tired tonight?
ironic, isn't it?
You're pretty excited about that.
No,
right.
I'm
Okay,
just.
go ahead. I
it-
apologize.
Yeah,
it-
so,
I just
so
wanted to-
jump on the doxing thing that you
Yeah.
really want
They
to talk
are
about.
starting to dox really high-profile people, or some people don't even realize some of these people are high-profile. What made me a little worrisome is when I heard that they're doxing an MOFRW
Missouri.
president. Was it MOFRW? Yeah, it was an MOFRW, wasn't it?
Federation of
President.
Women.
Yeah, Federation of Women.
Federation Republican
No
Women.
way.
Yeah.
Barbara Smith
Barbara Smith, out in St. Louis.
out in St. Louis.
The Barbara Smith.
And she's
Wow.
older.
Yeah.
And
Well,
but
Antifa is
this-
doxing her?
and now they're also
Wait.
doing the NFRW, which is a National Federation of Republican Women.
Wait a second.
And I'm president of the High Noon Republican Women,
Right.
which is part of the MOFRW.
Okay, wait a second. Make sure that all three of our listeners know what doxing means.
Doxing is harassing and posting their personal
100.
information online.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're posting their information online,
Right.
and then they actually have a recording of them. Hey,
Threatening.
let's go look at her house. Let's scope her house out. And they did that.
That is dangerous. Very dangerous.
And Barbara, they called the police, and the police
Well, yeah.
are looking into it. I mean, but it's. I'm like, you come on out here. I'm gonna show you. We'll show you exactly what you're doing. when
Come
you
on
get
out to Gentry County.
Yeah.
We'll show you what
Yeah.
we're all
Yeah.
about.
Fairly certain it's not going to happen up here.
Hey, Sean, what's the back of your shirt say?
It says the right to bear,
Bear
arms. I couldn't remember. I
Does
know
that mean like-
that one says we the people.
Does that mean
Both
like this?
both
or-
shirts are available via
right to bear arms.
funding the Heartland website. which
We
you can
believe
find
in
at
the Second Amendment.
There you go.
www.fundingtheheartland.com.
Don't these idiots know that we are Republicans and we do hold the Second Amendment close to us?
Well, just remember.
At least close enough to respond.
Well, remember they were going to dox the Republican, Lincoln days in
Yeah,
Jackson
yeah,
County,
yeah.
and Sean and me, we noticed I actually talked to him, two black ladies, and we talked about this the last podcast. I walked around and we were checking out where all the police officers were and stuff like that. But they were definitely checking out. They never went into the dinner. They never did any of that. But they were very nice. Antifa was definitely, I don't know if they're Black Lives Matter. I don't know if they were Antifa. But they were definitely checking it out. But they didn't do anything. But I think they dawned on them that these were Republicans that have the right to conceal and carry, that if they did anything, something could happen. I mean, because most of these events that they go to, they will not put themselves in danger, not true danger.
Well,
when they
don't need
riot,
to be coming out here then, because they will get you in danger.
And
There's
they will
pig
not put
farmers
them
around here. You can hide. I'm not gonna
I
incriminate.
was gonna say.
No.
I myself have 2 ponds.
But I'm just they are cowards. They will not go anywhere and do anything that will directly cause them actual bodily harm. Most of these Black Lives Matter people that protest,
well, the Antifa is worse.
Are paid for.
Yeah, I think Antifa is actually way worse because
Black Lives Matter.
they're usually misguided idiots.
Yeah,
they really are. I had a friend of mine that actually went down to an Antifa.
And he's an idiot.
He went down to the one of the very first ones here in Kansas City, and I was like, "What are you doing?" Because that's not just wrong. I mean, he's an adult. He's not living in somebody's basement. He's got a professional job. He's working 9 to 5. That's a great way to get fired, dummy.
Yeah, and like Rick DeSantis in Florida just put a bill out there that
Ron
DeSantis signed it. He just signed a bill that if you're involved with any of these riots or stuff, you lose your federal fund. Any state funding, you lose. You stay in jail, and you cannot be bailed out. You stay in jail till you are seen before a judge. You are now a violent assembly with a felony. You block a roadway. It's now a felony in the state of Florida. I mean, all local government refuse to provide any adequate protection for those citizens will forfeit their sovereign immunity protecting, allowing citizens to sue the local government for any compensation.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's big. So we need stuff like this in the state of Missouri and all over the United States. This is a way you're going to stop this kind of crap.
Well, the other thing we have to be careful of is the left will take something like that and flip it so that we can no longer assemble and have our gatherings at all.
Yeah, but the thing is that it's not. And this is if you're on a violent, if you're doing harm to people's personal property, where the right does not.
Oh, I never said that. I'm just saying that.
The left will try to flip it, but the thing is, the right never does that. The right never. When we went to the state capitol, it was never a riot. What happened was a riot was Antifa and the Black Lives Matter that got involved into.
You're talking about the federal capitol.
The federal capitol. So January 6th, that everyone said, well, this is an atrocity. Well, what was an atrocity? Nothing was wrong that happened other than people were being blocked from going into the state capitol building, which is owned by the people.
Not state. You keep saying state capitol.
I mean, the federal building. But it's owned by the people of the United States of America. The federal building is being allowed in by the state capitol police.
The Capitol Police, yeah.
That's what's
police, and that's what's so scary is that we have those videos. I don't know how they can get away with being able to say, "Hey, we are going to charge you with trespassing," but yet we have video of some of them showing them get past the police barriers. It's
and then they're giving tours by these police officers. They're giving tours of the places where they can go visit and see. So I just have a hard time thinking that. I mean, I know the left will do anything and everything possible to try to twist and turn things against the Republicans.
I just don't want it to turn into a new Patriot Act because I think the Patriot Act is being used.
And Mondo even said that.
Oh, you know what? The Patriot Act
against the American
for sure.
people.
But I mean, that started out with good intentions
used it
too,
for our safety.
And now it's got.
But guess what?
Yeah.
Well,
they took away our freedom.
Shocker.
Well, then when they did use the Patriot Act is one of the things they used to spy against the Trump administration.
Well, I mean, they use that to spy against Americans. Thanks, George W. Bush.
And I think they knew what that was going to do. I think they knew. When they got Obama in the office, that this was going to.
Well, you get any left-wing crazy nut in there, Like Joe Biden.
Obama was just as left wing.
Yeah, I was going to
as
say
Obama,
he was worse.
He was
I think.
way worse.
Yeah, Joe Biden.
But they were taking baby steps with Obama. They tried to do it over 8 years, but then Trump happened, and it put sort of a halt. Now they have to speed up the process to get to where they should have been in the first place.
I think the only person that saw the issue that might actually happen was, of course, Rand Paul. With his libertarian thing.
You know what?
I hate to say it, but
he wasn't the only one. I think Ted Cruz saw it. I do know that a couple people saw it, but
but I don't think Ted Cruz voted against it, though. That's the problem. That's what I'm saying. Is that a lot of people said, yeah, that could be a danger, but we'll watch it. We got a judge, and it'll go through the proper. Okay.
Speaking of judges, you know what?
No, yeah, go ahead.
How many conservative judges did Trump nominate? 3?
3, yeah.
And
on the Supreme Court.
Yeah,
that are sitting on the Supreme Court.
If you're just talking about federal
judges,
a lot of them.
Who nominated Clarence Thomas?
That was Bush 1, if I remember right. Or
Bush
was
1. Why is he the savior of conservatives right now? He's been actually the best judge all around.
Mm-hmm.
Ditto.
Really
I
the
concur.
3 that Trump nominated, like we were rah Gorsuch, and
they're standing back.
Then it was rah Kavanaugh. We've seen Kavanaugh flip flop on a lot of stuff, which is very dangerous.
Kavanaugh's really bad. I think in that particular instance, Kavanaugh was picked by the establishment.
Yeah.
I think Gorsuch was too far the other way. I don't think he was professional enough.
Okay.
And I think Amy Gorsuch was...
Barrett.
Amy Barrett was kind of halfway in between. Her problem is her inexperience.
Well, her parents,
I think so.
You need to look who her father is. And
Who's
I
her
do think, if I remember right, her dad is actually a big Democrat. So you need to look into her father. There was a big story on her.
My mom was a Democrat.
Well, I'm just saying he's very big Democrat on the.
Mine still is. Yes.
So. But I'm just saying, sometimes your parents have a
almost
big
libertarian
influence on. But she's got a very good conservative record.
My dad was far right. My mom was far left, and.
Where do you stand?
Well, originally I voted. You ready for this? I actually voted for Bill Clinton.
I did not.
Because here's the deal. I was in college.
Yeah.
And I was studying to be a teacher. And guess what they told me? If you want to make sure you have a salary, vote Clinton. So I did.
Well, that's the trick of the Marxists do. Especially the dimwits that are teaching our kids in college.
Oh, anyway. So yeah, that was awful.
Cultural Marxism.
I have a little BLM.
Talk about BLM.
So Black Lives Matter Antifa folks actually came into, and this happened just today. They targeted an upscale restaurant in Kentucky, in Louisville, Kentucky, and the restaurant patrons pulled guns and told the mobs,
"Nice,
I like it.
Bring it on, let's go." And shockingly enough, they didn't.
Imagine that.
Yeah, because guess what? If you do, peace through strength, it works. You may not like it.
I need to pull up the stat, guys.
Speak softly and carry a big stick.
Well, that's back when Democrats actually believed in that.
That would be Reagan, wasn't it?
No, carry softly. That's
that was
Teddy Roosevelt.
Teddy,
yep.
He wasn't a Democrat, but he was one of the first progressive, quote unquote, progressives out there, even though he's a Republican. Anyway,
yeah, but he came from New York, so of course he was progressive.
Well, right. New York was a little bit different back then than it is now.
Not much, because they had the gangs. The gangs.
I've seen that. I've seen that.
New York controlled New York at the time.
You don't see the dancing and the singing near as much as you used to back then.
But you did have the gangs of New York back then, which, I mean, you have just a different gang control it now. You just have the Democrat gangs instead of...
Isn't that crazy, though, that one city and that entire state controls the state? That's the population in that city.
Well, I'll scare you. I'll scare you even more than that. if you go back and look at the original Trump versus Hillary Clinton,
Yeah.
her margin of victory were 4 boroughs in New York.
Like donkeys?
No, 4 what we would call kind of counties.
Right,
but I mean,
right.
no, that was her margin of victory. We're 4
Wow.
boroughs. That's it.
Wow.
If you take out those 4 boroughs that basically all voted for Clinton, that changes the election.
Yeah.
Just those 4.
So that okay. So on that topic,
when you talk about popular vote, by the way, you take out those 4, and she loses the popular vote. But that's what I'm saying is just those 4 have that much concentrated people. It can sway. It can change it. That's why the popular vote idea is so ludicrous.
If you guys haven't understood the theme of Freedom Roundup, we go down rabbit holes.
And now we suddenly went to the Electoral College. You're welcome.
No, we're going down another rabbit hole.
Oh no!
Are you guys
Okay,
ready?
go.
Alice in Wonderland. Hold on to your skirt. So we were talking about. Well, yeah, I guess it is Electoral College. It has to do with that a little bit too. But New York is losing a congressional seat because their governor killed people.
Yeah, no, literally, the amount of people he killed was like 10 times what they needed to keep that congressional seat. So had he not killed all the old people, he would have. Yeah.
All the blue states, Illinois, losing a seat. Both of those states are doing what Missouri is doing right now, also because of the census. They're going to redistrict, and because the Democrats hold a majority in the House and the Senate, they're going to redraw the districts because what they lost in Illinois and what they lost in New York were Democrat seats. And they don't want to give Republicans a chance to possibly take the state. No. If you get outside of the city of Chicago and that metro area, Northern Illinois, Southern Illinois, and Western Illinois, Republican.
Well, they gerrymander Illinois horribly.
Right.
What they try to do in the state of Missouri.
That's what the Democrats are going to do is start gerrymandering. Okay, you guys mark this on the podcast. Listen to this. Coming up, because of the census coming up, you're going to hear Democrats in Missouri saying that the Republicans are gerrymandering. We told you if Amendment 3 passed that the Republicans are going to gerrymander the state. Let's look at the facts. You have to have a certain amount of population, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
To make a district, either a House district, a Senate district, or a congressional district, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
This is right.
Okay. So what we're doing is trying to fit all these people in one area into different districts, right? Into possibly the same district or make a new district, something.
Yeah, make it ridiculously
and on top of that, the population has shifted some.
Right. So what they're doing, though, in Illinois, what you're talking about, Michelle, with the horrible, outrageous gerrymandering that happens, there's actually districts that look like a W and a C.
Yeah, that's
insane.
ridiculous.
They go down and they grab like the W. They go south, grab as many Democrats as they can, go back north, grab more Democrats, and pretty soon this W-looking congressional seat or a C congressional seat, there's too many Democrats in that area. So
that's crazy.
I mean, they're just hoarding up Democrats, so they turn the state blue. They turn that congressional seat blue. They turn the House seat blue. They turn the Senate seat blue.
Yeah, that's what they try to do in the state of Missouri when they plan to clean Missouri.
Yeah,
that was one of the.
Well, the thing about gerrymandering,
Welcome
when
to the
they
rabbit
do
hole.
that, I'm just saying when they do that, you have people in rural farm communities in Illinois being represented by big city people like Chicago and Illinois, which have different values and different wants and different needs.
The same thing with California.
Yeah, exactly.
Same thing with California.
Well, just same thing
Mass
here
exodus.
in Missouri, because we moved from the Kansas City metro area up here to Gentry County, and you automatically, the first week, you can tell that there's a difference in wants, needs, and concerns in both areas. Where independents might be more concerned with better roads and stuff like that. They don't care about the roads so much here, but we do care about our schools, and our farms. We really need to have that continuous congruent in the same, that have the same likes, feels, and wants from your government together. You can't have a farm community with somebody from the city,
deeply farm community,
with the big city, because there's different needs and wants, because you have your state rep has to know a lot of what's going on in the communities that they are representing. And so if you only focus on the city people, you understand what the city wants, but it's really hard to focus on both, what the city and the farmers want, and try to make them both happy. You can't do that.
It is.
You can't make them both all happy. You have to have one or the other, and they're making it just harder for themselves. But Chicago, they don't care, because they're all about the big cities. They don't want the small farmers. So if I would represent this area in Gentry County, I'm running for office as a, not for the big city, but for the farmers, to keep things smaller and try to protect the farms, because that's one thing I've noticed with the Biden administration, as well as some of the other.
Everything he pointed out was going to hurt farmers.
It was going to hurt every bit, like 4 pounds of meat a month. I mean, for crying out loud,
that was yearly. That was yearly.
A
year. So you know how that would harm the farmers.
The cattle farmers.
Yeah.
They don't care about the farmers.
But they don't care. But then they sit there and did all those personal loans and freed a lot of the black farmers of their debts, but they didn't do in the white farmers. And as a state rep, we need to do stuff as in the state of Missouri to protect our farmers. Because Texas has filed a lawsuit because that's racist, to do one instead of the other, because it didn't do Asian farmers, it only did black farmers.
Well, and the other thing is that the current administration has for a long time tried to force people back into the urban areas. And so they have their own plans for that. They don't want you being out in the country.
They don't want you insufficient
they
on your own.
They don't want you to think on your own.
Yeah,
independently.
Independently. And the thing is, what's really, really funny is I went to go get my bug oil changed yesterday, and at the Volkswagen, my little Volkswagen Bug, and it was a 2019 Bug. I love my Bug, but anyways, I took it down there, and the guy goes, they're coming up with a new Bug. They're making electrical, and I'm like, yep, not gonna buy it. And he goes, why not? And I was like, oh, and he goes, why not? And I was like, don't want an electrical car. He goes, well, they said by 2044, 80% of the cars are going to be electrical on the road. I'm like, how many people out there do you know that can afford a $50,000 vehicle? And he goes, true.
But it's not going to be $50,000 for you, because the government's going to help you pay for it.
Subsidize it.
With your $3,000, $35,000, $3,000 they give you, plus you have to pay
$5,000 to the government, and they give you back $3,500. But then they're going to subsidize it more. It's still money coming out of your own pocket.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's still not enough that will provide you food, water, electricity, plus a $55,000 vehicle. No, I don't think so.
Well,
why do Democrats think that they know better how to spend your money than how you know how to spend your own money?
Well, that's just like the administration now is trying to give us more money.
Yeah,
and
which
that's
is just crazy.
It's just an effort to get you hooked on the government's money, so that you have to let them be in control.
They want that universal paycheck.
Right.
They want everyone to have $1,000 a month, and then we'll discuss.
They're talking now about if you quit your job, you'll get like 75% of what you were being paid. Not if you get fired.
Wait.
Not if you lose your job. If you quit your job.
So there's a lot of people right now. I mean, we see it everywhere. We see a lot of businesses, corporations saying now hiring, and they're actually giving better benefits and better salary than the $15 an hour. We're seeing them doing $17 to $20 an hour. I was listening to another podcast from the Chicago area, and the guy had a caller call in and say that their son, this lady's son, is a felon, and UPS hired him because they needed people. They also said that if you show up for 5 days in a row, they'll give you a $200 bonus every week. That's how much these corporations, these companies, businesses need people working for them.
Yeah, but I'm not going to give $200 a week. That's nothing. The government's going to give them like $500 a week.
But on top of a working paycheck, though.
A small business
but
can't
still
compete with the
right.
unlimited doles that the government can do.
Right,
and,
right.
And we
Yep.
and I think that's part and parcel of why they want to
What happens when
push up the $15 an hour.
the
because
government
of-
owns the business?
Well,
what's that called?
And then
I wonder. Communism, maybe. Do you want to go back to your? Do you want to tie a bow on BLM? Do you want to circle back, Jen?
I was just the only other thing I wanted to mention, other than the folks actually pushing back on the rioters, is to juxtapose that to what's going on in Portland, which is just. Is there anybody in charge there?
What's going on in Portland?
It's the same thing every night.
yeah,
It's
they're still
literally
riding.
every night.
What?
Just continued
It
writing.
just no one's stopping them.
Nobody?
No.
No.
It's like we're just going to allow this kind of craziness to continue.
And you're not hearing it on the mainstream media.
No. You it's crazy. I mean, I encountered something very similar when they did the World Monetary Fund or whatever that came to Seattle back in the 90s, and remember how crazy that was with tear gas, and that's the first time I ever smelled tear gas. But it seems like it's the same thing. You know, we're just going to let them, eventually they'll calm down and go home. And it's like, no, they're not calming down and going home. By you not doing anything, you're quasi-encouraging this ridiculous behavior.
Total destruction.
Pull this crap in. It's like, I feel sorry for the poor people living in Portland that may not be on the right or left side, that are just trying to go to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know it's going offline again, but our whole
Welcome to Freedom
whole
RoundUp.
world is just a mess.
Yeah.
It's gone from not great, but not horrible, to a horrible hole that you're just like, how did it get so bad so fast?
How did we get so crazy? Crazy to the point that we're not even going to put a sex on your birth certificate because we don't want to make sure. We want to make sure our
You
kid
have that choice later.
That's their choice.
See, that's the thing though with communism. It slowly happens, and then all of a sudden it's there.
Yeah.
Well, this has been...
And the American people need to wake up. I mean, I was ranting and raving the last podcast, and I was yelling, but it's
no, it's true.
It's passion though that I have. That's why I'm yelling. It's the passion, because people do need to wake up. They need to see this is what is actually going on. If we don't correct course, we will be the Titanic and hit that iceberg and sink.
I don't have a lot of hope, to be honest with you, because I don't think there's until it happens, people are just so complacent that they think nothing's going to happen.
That's a great word for it.
And then all of a sudden, to your point, Kress, it's going to, and it's there. And then it's going to be too late.
It's going to be way too late.
It's going to be too late, and then they're going to...
We'll have foreign interference to make us go into full communism, and then
case in point, though, being too late, look at Obamacare. It's too late. People get hooked on these government handouts. Look at welfare.
But
look at Social
Obamacare's not an
Security.
American handout, which is so funny because so many people can afford Obamacare.
Well, look at all these government programs implemented during FDR.
That never, ever...
They don't go away. They never go away. And it's more of a hindrance on our lives and the economy than it is a help.
I'm telling you, Biden is right now wanting to hand out money to us. He's got different programs, and people who have kids, he's talking about, what is it, $200 or $500 every month for every kid you have?
Yeah, $500.
$500.
And what do you think that does? It forces people to be...
It incentivizes people.
Yep, and to be beholden to the government.
Yeah.
And then once they get you needing that money, then you need it, and then they have the control. Because it's just like the states. Right now, the states are beholden to the federal
government.
Do you want so much because they've opened their pocketbook?
Oh my gosh! Yeah. We can't do anything in the schools or the state legislature because we depend on the federal government so much.
When did that start happening, though?
I don't know, but I tell you what, it's so frustrating.
I seen that too.
Because you can't, if you decide not to do something, you don't get funded, and you need that money because you've become dependent upon that money.
So why don't you just change the program?
Well, the problem is that we have a $35 billion budget. $35 billion $35 billion budget
with a B.
And we. Well, let's see. Let me think about this. 38% of our state budget right now goes to Medicare, or Medicaid, without the expansion.
Okay.
Another third goes to school funding, education funding.
Education.
So where do you get the rest of the money?
It goes in the political whores' pockets.
Well, the problem is that in order to fund all this stuff, you got to get it from a good portion of that from the federal government, because if you don't, we don't have enough taxes and sales taxes to cover that $35 billion
that you're now hoping is there every time.
Exactly.
That's the biggest problem.
So we decided to let the federal government go. The monies that we get from them to go, then we have to do away with all these issues, that all these different.
Do we even have any of the states that are independent from the federal government right now?
No,
that do not take money.
No, they all do. They all do. And
what
usually,
would our founding fathers say right now? This is what I want to go back to.
They'd be screaming.
So I know I say I lean libertarian, but I lean founding father constitutionalist.
Well, the biggest draw that comes in, and I'll blame Eisenhower.
Oh, another Republican I like ripping on Republicans just as much as Democrats.
Is the interstate system?
Yeah,
that's where it started.
Okay,
allow us to help you build roads. Oh well, we can't help you build just interstates because you have a bunch of other problems too. Right. Allow us to fund your transportation budgets.
Yep,
and that's where it started. And so you had that, and then it's like, well, we need to expand, Medicare, Medicaid, or. For your state, so let us help you with that. So I mean, it was just this nickel and dime stuff over time that's just gotten insanely huge, and there's just no stopping it.
But still, Shaun or Jeff, it doesn't matter. The state, the federal government, where's that money coming from?
It's coming right back from us,
from who?
The citizens,
the people.
Yeah, that's right.
So
yeah,
I want you to name me one product that the state produces and sells on the open market.
That the state?
Yeah, the state of Missouri.
Oh, the state of Missouri sells on the open market?
Yeah.
Soybeans, corn.
The state of Missouri. Are they a business?
No, but they do sell products.
What product? What do they manufacture? What do they
manufacture?
Produce?
Oh, well, and that's the tricky thing, right? They don't directly do any of that.
Right, okay.
It's always going to be manufactured goods.
Okay.
At the very best.
So, Jeff, I should ask Jeff this question. He's the state guy.
For this state.
What's the federal government make, produce, and sell like a corporation? The answer is nothing. Let me help you guys. The answer is nothing.
I was just getting ready to say that.
Well, there's some gray areas that we could probably contend with.
They make nothing.
Generally
they sell
speaking,
nothing. Nothing they have is on the free market for sale.
Correct.
Okay. So the government, the money the government has, they get it from us, the taxpayer. Think about how many taxes we pay. We pay taxes. We're circling back to last week. We pay taxes for every single thing. We have a sales tax for everything.
Oh, I just had to I just had to pay sales tax on my truck.
Oh, yeah.
How appropriate is that to be taxed for everything?
Yeah.
It was never supposed to be like this. I've said this over and over again. It was never, the founding fathers never intended for this to happen.
No, nobody did when they first started. But the problem is, once you found out that you've got this incredibly unlimited funding, why not use it? Oh, we'll use it for this. We'll use it for that. We'll use it for that. Oh, wait, we're running out of money, so now we need more. So and that's how it always starts. That's how it always starts.
So isn't that called? What are the gangs called that go into or mafia? They go into businesses. They capitulate money for safety, right?
Oh, protection money.
Protection money. Yeah, I won't burn your business down. You're racketeering. There we go. That's the word I need.
I'd hate for something horrible to happen to your business. Why don't you pay me a little insurance money?
I'd hate that the government, we the government, would take away your house because your house that you paid for because you're not paying the taxes. Oh, you're not paying the taxes on your truck, Sean, that you got.
Yeah.
Guess what? It's now the government's.
This is very similar.
It is. Did the government start paying for that?
This is very similar to what Jeff said earlier in that. The other drawback is if you don't spend that money doesn't come back. And this is a drawback with any sort of state budget already or even getting some of that federal money. Yeah. But if you
go back to the people.
But you can't do that because some of those
you absolutely can.
Especially with the transportation budgets because they've got such a reliance on these funds, be it federal or whatever, specifically to fund their pensions. I agree. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying what the rationale behind it is. They're not specifically choosing to want to spend that money, but they know if they don't, it's gone.
The problem is that you for people that are not involved in the political world of the budgets and all the different issues that the states have to do, you're going to end up, you cannot do without getting the government's money because you've got all these programs that you've promised your own citizens in your state that if you don't get it, they don't get those programs.
Maybe we should stop promising that to the American people and the citizens of Missouri.
Well, I would love to do that, but then you're gonna get hell.
Yeah, and there's past things.
The
thing is,
you will get reelected?
No, it's not about that.
No, it's
not about that. It's about
you're trying to save your own political ass.
No, it's not about that at all.
Remember that there's people in the past that have promised things that are already put
I'm gonna punch him.
That are put in place, and that these people have been told for years that they get, and then you take it away.
So you're gonna, it's like you're
drug addicted. It's literally an addiction.
You can't just take it away. You have to wean them off and find other options.
It would be nice if all the states would get together and say enough to the government, enough to the federal government, but you're not going to get that. Nope. Unfortunately, I would love it if you did, but you're not going to get it.
All right, that's the end of our second segment. When we get back, we'll dick really quickly about the Rudy raid.
Oh, yeah.
Here in a second.
We almost forgot that.
Yep, we'll talk about that next.
Appreciate the podcast? Well, it's expensive. Could we bother you for, say, a cup of coffee a month? For $5 a month, you can contribute to our grassroots effort. Donate online, day or night, at www.fundingtheheartland.com. Hello, sir or madam. We would love to hear from you. No, really, honestly. If you have any feedback, comments, or hate mail, or hate female, visit www.fundingtheheartland.com, or you can email us directly at media@fundingtheheartland.com.
Welcome back to Freedom Roundup. I'm Shaun Horner, the executive director of the Heartland Fund Incorporated. And before we call it an evening and stick a fork in it, we're going to talk really briefly and then super briefly about the Rudy raid.
Yeah, you know why? Because it's 11:15. It's almost past my bedtime.
Holy crap. All right, so after 11. No, I don't know.
I'm all alone.
All right, so Rudy Giuliani, who used to be Trump's one of Trump's personal lawyers, his office building was raided. The warrant in question was to retrieve all electronic devices from the premises. However, when asked about some certain hard drives, and Rudy mentioned that the hard drives were Hunter Biden's, the authorities from the Department of Justice didn't want them at all.
No. We can't have those.
We don't want those.
So this is from Fox News and Tucker Carlson.
Yep.
Taking the 3 hard drives, which of course are electronic devices, they just mimic the computer. I said, well, don't you want these? And they said, what are they? I said, those are Hunter Biden's hard drives. And they said, no. I said, are you sure you don't want them? I mean, the warrant required them to take it. And they said, no. And one last time I said, don't you think you should take it and they said, no. Now, Hunter Biden.
So we just want your stuff.
Yeah,
because
we
they
just
knew
want your
full well.
stuff.
They knew full well if they took those hard drives, boom, it's introduced as evidence, and somebody's going to look at it. And you know what happens if there was a instance of a crime on those?
We'd have to go get Russia.
Ukraine. I don't know. I can't keep up. Yeah, somebody. No. Hunter Biden would be in trouble, and if Hunter Biden's in trouble, it implicates
Joe.
Well, and the thing is
Mr. B.
that they violated their own search warrant and their own stuff.
Yeah, so how is that going to the stuff they got? How
it's
how's that going to
inadmissible?
be? Yeah, I was going to say, how's that even? How can you even use that now?
How can you
because
use
they can just
they're supposed to have all electronic devices, and they didn't take all electronic devices in the home.
It's a double standard from Lady Justice is blindfolded, right? And she's holding a pair of scales. And it's supposed to be equal justice, blind equal justice under the law, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that's happening anymore. I think
I don't
she's
think
got
it is.
one eye open.
Yeah,
she does. She's peeking, and the scales are tipped in one direction, and the scales are tipped toward the Democrats. And it's been like that. I hate to say this, but since Trump got elected, we are seeing he outed all of this corruption. He has woken America up to this corruption that we're seeing in.
Well,
I think it's a little bit more than half of America that is seeing this, because there's a lot of
President,
Democrats that
Houseplant, asterisk President Houseplant. And I say asterisk.
the most popular president in modern history.
Bull did not get that many votes, and we can see that with HR1. But the point being, is this guy. I forgot what the point was.
It's getting too late. All right. So anyway,
this is going to be really interesting. I think that this Rudy Giuliani is just the tip of the iceberg of what they're going to raid and what they're going to do. But
is this the beginning of them going after other
people? Just like that now. I mean, in Biden's speech,
the FBI is corrupt from the inside.
Now they're going to do the taxing.
They're going all
after Republicans and conservatives.
Yeah.
They're going after their taxes, by going after whatever they can find to root them out as terrorists. And I think you're going to see more Trump officials getting their stuff raided and stuff. You really are going to see some major bad things going on. But I think the American people are starting to wake up.
They really are. The past 4 years, Trump, like I'm saying this again, really woke people up to the corruption of the Democrats and the beltway of DC politics, the corruption inside of that. We have, I said this last podcast too, but we see people like Mitch McConnell. He would rather be on the offensive, raising money. This is what irritates me about the Republicans. They'd rather be on the offensive and say, "Oh, look how bad the Democrats are," and raise money off of it.
Mitch McConnell loves being on perpetual defense.
Okay, yeah.
Because he loves using it as a fundraiser, and two, all he's got to do is say, "This sucks."
But then they're not solving the actual problems that they've been talking about.
Mitch McConnell doesn't care.
And
they don't care. No. That's what really bothers me.
He doesn't.
But what I do like, Michelle is doing this for the right reasons, and I applaud Michelle. She's not doing this for the fame and the fortune. Jeff is doing this for the right reasons. He's not doing this for the fame and the fortune.
Definitely not the fortune.
Yeah, I was going to say.
You guys see a broken system that you want to fix. You see people out there that need your help, that you want to help. We have Jasper Logan in northern Missouri running for state rep. He is not doing this for fame and fortune.
Not that much northern than me.
I mean, he is the county right above you. Yes, north above. Did you say west or east?
It's northwest.
West, okay.
A little northwest.
So the point is, there are really good Republicans out there that are actually trying to fix this problem, to fix these issues, to help the people that they represent. Yep. But there's people like Mitch McConnell that all they want to do, and Liz Cheney, that all they want to do is fundraise and do their own conservative virtue signaling.
But they're starting to see that turn on them because there was a fundraiser that Mitch McConnell was at, not him, Romney was at, and he got booed.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm following the Utah Republican Party, and all I see on there posted all the time is how much of a mistake it was to put Mitt Romney in as their senator. Yeah. They are ready to vote him out. They're ready for someone different. They have people lined up that are actually conservative, that lean libertarian, like Mike Lee, and they hate. Oh my gosh, we went from one subject to a completely other. They want someone completely different in there because they know Mitt Romney was a huge mistake.
Well, did you just read that Liz Cheney is up to get removed?
Yes.
They are said within a month she'll be removed from office.
Oh, thank God.
Yay.
They said
That's
what did it was her fist bumping Biden during the what do you call it? Because
State of Union.
But she's been stepping over the Republicans all step of the ways and Republicans, but the Republicans saying they're actually going to remove her.
When you have a father like grouchy face Dick Cheney, I mean the guy's never happy. Even on his happiest days, he's still.
I was a little shocked. I was a little shocked because, I mean, some people think that she was deeply rooted where she wouldn't ever get removed, but I don't think
she's gone. I'm telling you, Trump has woken up the American people to this stuff.
Well, you're starting to see the rhinos transition out because they can't play that game anymore.
Right.
It just not working.
Speaking of Trump, did you hear that he might have Governor DeSantis as his running mate?
Yeah, and he's going to start holding rallies in May.
Oh my gosh. I am getting so excited for this.
Yeah.
Already.
He's had enough.
No, and everyone has.
Everyone has. Because they're seeing it, and I think the Democrats are seeing the writing on the wall too. Because everything that he's doing, I mean, going through the $15 an hour minimum wage,
destroying small businesses, bringing back huge amounts of regulation.
Yeah, and so the people, I think, have had enough, and it's only been 100 days in office for him. So something needs to be done.
All right, kids. I think it's time to put everyone to bed.
Is it that time again?
It's time.
That went by too fast. We need more than an hour.
Well, it's hard to time. It's hard to figure out when time goes quickly in this basement because you can't see outside. From our bunker, our secure bunker.
Pretty quiet, other than the little doggy feet that keep running around.
Doggy feet, kids. It's life. All right, so we're gonna put a fork in this on behalf of myself, Jeff, Kress, Michelle, Deb, and producer Becky. That's it. We're calling it good. Good night, everybody.
See you, Sean. Bye.
Good night, Sean.
Good night.